joined today by Damian Connelly, Principal Consulting Engineer at METS Engineering. Damian, thanks for your time.
Yeah, thanks.
Firstly, METS Engineering, a well-known brand in not just the Australian but the global market. Tell us about the business and how you've evolved.
That's true. We certainly started in Australia here in Perth, and we certainly now are globally present on resource projects in South America, North America, Africa, Europe and so on. I guess we're a niche business in that we offer a service that not a lot of people can provide. In terms of once the ore is mined, we look after from the ROM pad to produce products. And I guess with the sort of processing involves a lot of chemistry, physics, and a lot of previous knowledge on commodities and markets and things, impurities and all sorts of things like that. So our client base is essentially mining companies. We also do work for banks. Banks don't understand mining, they only understand financial models. We also consult to companies in terms of mergers and takeover, and we do that very quietly. No one knows we're even doing it. And then other consulting roles. We've done work for government and people like that. A lot of the time, all the work we do is totally confidential. You would never know that we're even there doing it, and nothing goes outside our office.
In terms of commodities of focus, I assume you've cut your teeth on the gold, silver, tin, iron ore and the like, but now it's all critical minerals.
That's totally true. I think back in the 80s, in the gold boom, we had a lot of knowledge and we rode the crest of that wave, but it has changed. I think previously we've seen some in a market where some commodities are up and down, like iron ore and copper, and we've seen times where companies were selling off really good copper projects, and then you think, my God, why? But the board says we cannot afford to keep, they're losing money. But certainly the market has changed. We've got a period now where actually everything is up. Iron ore prices are good, gold prices good, and of course we've got lithium. Dropped off a little bit now, but I mean, some companies were really killing the pig with lithium. And then of course critical minerals, so the rare earths, even graphite. There's so many commodities where there's incredible opportunities for companies to develop projects.
Given the relationships you have and the relationships you've built, you must have great insights into what's coming ahead, what people should be looking and thinking about, not just from an investor point of view, but a wider sector point of view. What is the crystal ball telling you?
Look, we certainly have insights. Some things we can talk about, some things we can't. Like we talk to banks and we talk to financiers, we talk to traders out of Singapore, out of Hong Kong, and they're quite free in terms of what they will tell us and talk about. But in terms of going forward, I think, like particularly you look at uranium, that's one that was, people have been talking it up for a while and it sort of wasn't happening, but now we see it is actually, the price is up at $80. That's a record price for a long time. I think we see, like we go back to the very early days of critical minerals such as rare earths, and we saw the struggle and the development of people like Linus. Now, blue chip company really doing incredibly well. And of course the demand, because China dominates with rare earths, the US, Europe, they want alternative supplies. I mean, China has caused rumbles. They've cut off supply to Japan at one stage. I mean, they even mentioned they're thinking about changing. They say they're worried about the black market trade and they're trying to control that, but that just puts the wind up, people who buy the product and need it because it's so fundamental. And in fact, the fact that rare earths are being produced, the whole lanthanide series, people are finding new uses. So the growth in these, particularly EVs and the batteries and very powerful magnets and so on, that's caused a complete change. So rare earths, and they're not easy projects. You can produce a concentrate, and then you've got the hydromet part to produce. We stop at, say, rare earth carbonates. the Chinese have developed the technology to go further downstream, but even that hydromet plant is a complex chemistry set. And so that's why we tend to stop at the mixed rare earth and then sell that to people to process into batteries or separate them.
METS engineering, what's the future look like? And where do you think the opportunities are for your business?
I think people say to me, gosh, how is it you've survived 33 years? And they say, what's the secret? And I say, well, I guess when the buck stops with you, and I guess you are the owner, BHP can ring me on a Sunday morning and I don't switch the phone off, I answer the phone. And of course, if they say, hey, we got a problem, I'm there. People have rung me on a Saturday night and said, could you be on a plane tomorrow? I said, of course I can. I mean, we're a service business. Even some companies have said to me, look, Damian, there's plenty of consultants out there, but they don't deliver. They promise the world, they don't deliver. At least if you say you're going to do something, you turn up, you deliver, you stick with it, and that's important. So I think there's characteristics of a service business, particularly when you're small and you can make decisions very quickly. We don't have a hierarchy. We don't have to go to level 16 to get a decision. We can make a decision very quickly. We can respond to people. And I think also probably what people don't understand is on our server, we've got hundreds of millions of dollars worth of IP. And they say, how could you have all that? Well, every time someone does a feasibility study, the bank gives it to us and it costs 10 million to do that study. And this has been going on for years. So confidentially, we can't actually disclose the particular project, but in terms of chemistry and strategies and the way of doing things, we have all that as a database. So when we come to a new project, we have a clean sheet of paper, but by gosh, we've got a lot of history and background and previous projects that we can draw on.
How important is it in building loyalty and how important is it in delivering?
We've had companies who've thanked us profusely. They said, we couldn't pay you enough. We've been to projects where they're trying to commission and they're really struggling. They've had people from all over the world there. We come along, we stick at it and we turn things around. You don't see that in an ASX announcement. You don't read it in Mining Magazine, but we've been there. And so we've built up loyalty. There are people who will only use us.
Client-centric, focused on outcomes, value-driven,
yes.
A company to really keep an eye on and a key company in the growth of the resources sector, not just here in Australia, but globally. Damian, thanks for your time.